Boxing King Media in association with BYD. Alexis, your man Derek Chisora with an absolutely crazy performance, man. A lot of people standing up at the end of that 10th round and applauding, shouting Derek's name. Just talk to me, how has he done it? Derek Chisora being Joyce.
Yeah, I think, it's a testament to his training. Derek works very, very hard. There is no season. He's constantly working hard and constantly improving. Considering his age and, the punch output and the punch selection today, I thought he did a fantastic job. I actually thought we'd go like that. We were all thinking about how good Joyce's chin was and whether or not it had gone a little bit, and it hadn't, which was annoying. 'Cause I think we could have got rid of him a lot earlier, but he could hold a shot. Unbelievable. And Derek hit him with every shot he threw. And that takes a lot of energy out of you. And he hasn't fought in a year as well, so there's a bit of ring rust. That even all the sparring, we've been sparring some young, fresh guys. Like you'd know the guys who were sparring. They're very, So we had poignant sparring, so we knew we were in shape. We knew we had the pace. But when you land those kind of shots, they take a lot out of you because your energy bar goes down when you land those kind of shots. And then I think tactically it was correct. The shot selection we chose was right for Joyce. The rolling, the slipping, and the clinching was correct for Joyce. So I think it all worked out how I thought it was going to go, but I genuinely thought we could get rid of him earlier. I thought his chin was a bit spent, and it absolutely wasn't. So
Yeah, Derek said that in the press conference. And I said, listen, I kept hitting him, but this guy wouldn't go down.
yeah, I mean that shows you maybe how hard Zhang punches, because you think to yourself, oh, his chin's gone. It absolutely hasn't gone. He got hit with some shots that would put away 9 out of 10 heavyweights. Some of the shots that Derek hit him with tonight would have put away top 10 heavyweights. A lot of them would have gone out from those sort of shots, and Joyce just held him. It was outrageous.
There was a time in there where Derek seems to have got hurt as well. He was holding, he was clinching, and he saw the round really well. What advice did you give him at that point? And what was it that, was it tiredness at that point, or was it just one of them big shots from Joyce landing through?
Yeah, well, I mean that was the exact advice. Was just spoil it a little bit, clinch him, hold him, smother the work, go for a walk, just slow the fight down and touch. He hurt his hand in there. Obviously, I'm not saying Joe didn't catch him or whatever, but it didn't catch him that bad. He was riding most of the shots. You could tell he was all right. He just got a little bit fatigued, and then he hurt his hand, and they had to change stance slightly, and then the game kind of changed. The game plan kind of changed, and then he had to go back to that punch selection, just bite down his mouth guard and forget the hand and carry on. So he hurt his right hand on one of the shots, and it was an earlier shot as well.
What were you saying to Derek? Because he kept landing big shots, but Joe was coming forward quite often and seemed to brush some of them off. Some of them you could tell it did affect him. But what were you telling him in between rounds?
No, I think you've got to think about Joyce like a video game character. He's got a power bar, and you keep hitting him, that power bar goes down, and eventually Joe stepped onto one. Yeah. So Derek reached for him a lot, but there was one of them where he held back a little bit, and Joe stepped, and then Derek landed, and that was the shot that dropped him and put him away. And that's what you want to do when you power punch. You want the guy stepping onto your punch, not reaching for the punch. I think a lot of time Derek was reaching for the punch, but when he went to the body and came up with the head, I mean, that should have taken most guys out, and Joe held it. So credit to him, it was outrageous.
I spoke to Alexander Usyk afterwards, and he said, tough man. It just shows how much respect fighters have for Derek. When Alexander Usyk turns up, Alexander Usyk talks to him after. You've got people online who are applauding Derek Chisora. It shows a testimony of what he's done in his career.
Yeah, I think that besides Derek being a legend of British boxing, he gives you, if you pay to come and watch Derek Chisora fight, you're getting your money's worth, and he's going for the kill. He's absolutely not going for points. He's giving you what British boxing is all about. He's giving you those nights that you remember, and that's something that'll be greatly missed, I think. And he's got 2 more fights in him. That's how he wants to finish his career. He's got 2 more fights, and this showed having a year off and then doing that to Joyce. It shows that he's definitely capable of doing it, and he's still it's well within his grasp to have big fights and do big things. So I think the British public should do what they do, which is get behind him and go see his last dance up in Manchester in December, and then one more fight.
I spoke to Dillian Whyte. He goes, let's get it on. Let's get the 3rd fight on. And Derek said in there, listen, as long as everything's good and everything's on a level playing surface, why not? Let's get that fight on. Would you like to see that as a fight fan? I know you're a trainer, and but from the fight fan, we saw some good fights between them two.
I actually trained Dillian Whyte before, so I know Dillian very well, and obviously I trained Derek. Yeah, it'll be a great fight. Again, it's like Derek said. Dillian's had some unfortunate, yeah. So he popped a couple of times for something, So if he's clean and the board allow it, it would be a great fight. I think the public want to see it, and that there's no there's nothing that would stop us from taking that fight. I think it'd be hilarious. It'd be great. It'd be great fun, and I think the crowd will go nuts. And I think it will bring out the best in Dillian, and definitely bring out the best in Derek.
How much for yourself on a personal level is this a big win? Because a lot of people wrote Derek off. They said, listen, he's got to that stage of his career where he's not the favourite in this fight. Joyce was the favourite coming into this fight. But as a personal level, how big is this win for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've coached Derek, I think like 8 times now, and I've only ever lost to Usyk by split by a close decision. Like everyone thought we arguably might have won that fight. That was a really good close fight, and everyone loved it. And I've won all the other ones with him. I know that if he's trained correctly, he's an absolute monster. Because obviously I trained David Hay, and I was working with David with Derek. So you know what you've got when you've got those kind of people behind you. And when Derek follows a plan and a regime, he's a nightmare. You know, he's a great guy. And I think that a lot of people wrote him off, but if you understand what you've got, you know that Derek on his day can deal with a lot of people in this division. It can give problems to a lot of people. And Joe Joyce would have given a lot of people problems, like a lot of people problems. So I'm super happy for Derek, but I definitely thought we were going to do it exactly the way we did it. I just couldn't believe how Joe held that shot.
Yeah, fair play to both men.
Yeah.
Both tough guys. Alexis, always a pleasure talking to yourself. Thank you very much for talking to Boxing King Media. I will speak to you in the next one. Salman, thank you very much, Salman.
Cheers.